The creature had been contained in the deepest vault of Station Omega-7 for 3 centuries. Every species in the galaxy knew its story, the devourer of Proxima, the thing that had consumed an entire star system before the combined fleets of 12 civilizations managed to trap it in quantum stasis. Dr. Lisa Chen was the first person foolish enough to request access in over 50 years. Absolutely not, Director Caxthol's tentacles writhed in agitation. The umbral entity is the most dangerous thing in known space. It has killed everyone who attempted communication. That's because they tried to command it, Lisa said quietly, reviewing the psychological profiles from previous attempts. Look at the records. Every attempt involved dominance, control, threats. What if we tried something different? Different how? What if we tried listening? The director's skin changed to a deep purple, his species equivalent of horrified laughter. Dar. Chen, that thing destroyed 3 billion lives. It's not interested in conversation. But Lisa had spent months studying the classified files. The umbral entity wasn't just a destroyer, it was a being in constant pain, its very existence a torment that drove it to lash out at everything around it. Every previous attempt at communication had been about containment, about making it stop. No one had ever asked why it couldn't stop. 3 days later, Lisa stood before the quantum containment field, staring at the writhing mass of shadow and starfire that pulsed within. The entity was beautiful in its terror, a living constellation of dark matter and collapsed space that bent reality around itself. "Hello," she whispered through the intercom. "I know you can hear me." The thing paused its endless writhing. Sensors detected a spike in its quantum emissions. "They call you a monster," Lisa continued, her voice barely audible. "But I've read the reports. I know what you really are." The entity's form shifted, coalescing into something almost humanoid, though still composed of living darkness and dying stars. "You're in pain," Lisa whispered. "Constant, unending pain. That's why you consume everything, you're trying to make it stop." For the first time in 3 centuries, the umbral entity was completely still. "The star you consumed first, Proxima, it was your home, wasn't it? Something happened there. Something that changed you into this." The entity pressed against the containment field, its form rippling with what sensors registered as distress rather than aggression. Lisa placed her hand against the barrier. "You were trying to go home. All this time, you've been trying to return to what you were before." The creature's response came not as sound but as pure emotion transmitted directly into Lisa's mind, 3 centuries of anguish, loneliness, and desperate hunger for something it couldn't name. "I understand," Lisa whispered. "You don't want to hurt anyone. The hunger just never stops, does it?" What happened next would reshape galactic history. The entity began to communicate, not in words, but in shared memory and emotion. It showed Lisa the truth. It had once been a peaceful energy being, transformed by a cosmic accident into something that fed on matter and energy to sustain its tortured existence. "What if I told you there was another way?" Lisa asked softly. "What if you didn't have to be hungry anymore?" Over the following months, Lisa worked with the entity to develop a new form of sustenance, controlled fusion reactions that could satisfy its hunger without requiring the consumption of inhabited worlds. But more importantly, she gave it something no one else had offered, understanding and companionship. The galaxy watched in terror as the most dangerous creature in existence began to obey a single human woman. When threats emerged, hostile fleets, cosmic disasters, rogue AI systems, Lisa would whisper to her companion, and the umbral entity would respond with surgical precision. "How do you control it?" demanded the Galactic Council during an emergency session. "I don't," Lisa replied simply. "I befriended it." The entity, now calling itself Echo in honor of Lisa's whispered conversations, became humanity's silent guardian. It didn't serve out of fear or compulsion, but out of loyalty to the one person who had seen past its monstrous exterior to the broken soul within. Other species tried to replicate Lisa's success, but failed. The entity responded only to her because she alone had approached it without fear, without judgment, without the desire to use it as a weapon. "The galaxy's nightmare obeys you," observed Ambassador Velcara during a diplomatic meeting. Lisa looked out at the stars where Echo waited patiently, its dark form barely visible against the cosmic void. "It doesn't obey me. It trusts me. There's a difference." And in the depths of space, the thing that had once devoured worlds now stood guard over them, bound not by chains or commands, but by the simple revolutionary act of someone choosing compassion over control. Sometimes the most powerful force in the universe isn't domination, it's understanding.